Bryan Kohberger, suspect in the Idaho college student murders, appears in court for the very first time. Stay tuned until the end of the video, and I'm going to tell you what one of the surviving witnesses has said under oath to investigators, including what her description of the killer was. Let's get into it.
The penalty for that offense, if you plead guilty or found guilty, is up to death and/or imprisonment for life. Do you understand?
Yes.
The probable cause affidavit has been unsealed in the case of the Idaho college student murders. This entire story is being told by Brett Payne, who is employed by the Moscow Police Department and assisted by the Idaho State Police and the FBI. So I'm not going to get into it. Most of the people already know the information. You've got Kernoodle and Chapin, who are at the Sigma Chi fraternity house party, Goncalves and Mogan that are at the grub trucks and out at a bar, and then they all reconvene home. But what's interesting is that it looks like the other roommates were also home during this attack. How do we know that? Well, they interviewed both of them, and what one of the roommates revealed to the officers is astonishing. First thing, the murders actually occurred at 4 a.m., not 1 or 2 in the morning like we had originally heard. There's a lot of speculation going on, folks, about what actually occurred and when it happened, who was home, why didn't the roommates call 911. The probable cause affidavit does an excellent job going into extreme detail about some of the evidence that has been uncovered in this case. Here's the first red flag. One of the roommates that was at home heard Goncalves say, "There's someone here." The other thing that police looked at, they looked at Kernoodle's phone. It looks like Kernoodle was on TikTok about the same time that the murders occurred, which was about sometime around just after 4 a.m. Here's where it gets really terrifying. The unidentified roommate opens the door and looks out, doesn't see anything. The unidentified roommate opens her door a second time, and what does she hear? She hears Kernoodle crying. Another moment that makes the hair stand up on your neck is the unidentified roommate hears a male voice say, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." A short while later, around 4:17 a.m., there is a security camera outside of Kernoodle's exterior bedroom wall that apparently had caught some chatter and may be used as evidence. So it sounds like there could be some voices, potentially a whimper, a dog barking in the background that was recorded on this closed circuit security camera. The unidentified opens her door for a third time, and this is where it becomes extremely real. The killer is standing there in clad black, about 5'10", skinny, athletic build, bushy eyebrows, and just walks by the unidentified roommate, who stands frozen in the hallway, paralyzed in fear. That description is what led the police to Kohberger as a suspect. 5'10", skinny, athletic build, bushy eyebrows. At that time, the suspect leaves through the back sliding glass door, and the unidentified roommate locks herself in a room. So let's get into some of the evidence. What's really interesting, investigators found a latent shoe print. Latent is a fancy legal word that means hidden. How was this shoe print uncovered? Well, it was forensics. It was done by going back to the crime scene and applying more of the forensic testing. Other evidence. One of the main pieces of evidence discovered at the crime scene was a tan leather knife sheath that had a K-bar United States Marine Corps insignia stamped on the outside of it. Why is that so important? Anything that is easily identified like that can be tracked back to production. They may sell that locally, and obviously if they have receipts or footage, they may be able to track who purchased that knife. The second main thing that they have, obviously they have the unidentified roommates that were home, anything that they remember, any eyewitness testimony that they have. The police did a video canvass of the area and it revealed a potential car. The vehicle that the police identified was a Hyundai Elantra, and apparently the Elantra was all around the surrounding area, not only during the time frame of the murders, but also during other times where the murderer may have been casing this property to commit these crimes. One of the most interesting parts to me when reading this probable cause affidavit is learning that Bryan Kohberger was pulled over on November 30th, and during that stop, Bryan Kohberger gave his cell phone number to the police. Before I tell you the evidence that made me just about fall out of my chair related to Kohberger's cell phone pinging off of a tower nearest the crime scene, I need to preface with this. Everybody is innocent until proven guilty, including Bryan Kohberger. With that being said, Kohberger's cell phone pinged the tower near the crime scene at least 12 times in the 6 to 8 month time period leading up to the murders of the Idaho college students. The final piece of evidence, and then I want you to read below the probable cause affidavit, giving it away, comments section. The final piece of evidence that I want to talk about is the police in Pennsylvania secured some trash from the Kohberger residence that apparently popped positive on some forensics that they had from the crime scene. Apparently, there was a DNA match. Again, I'm just telling you some information that I thought was very interesting about the probable cause affidavit, and I want you to read below, and I want you to decide for yourself. And obviously, let me know in the comments section, what do you think is the key evidence in this case? Subscribe below. We are going to be following this like the plague.